Hello and welcome to Movie Community College.
If Arnab Goswami had a favorite reaction channel, it would be us.
There's no doubt about that.
It would be us.
It would have to be us. Yeah. So I am Tish, also known as the Warrior Queen.
I am Thanos. I have just destroyed half of the known universe like that.
You are silly. You are Jeremy, my husband, the professor.
That's true.
So today, our latest offering is... yeah, I'm pretty sure nobody wants to hear that in their earbuds.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I forget that my friends listen with
Yeah.
earbuds in and they complain about the loud noises.
So this is a movie review for Padman.
Padman, yes.
Another film with
Padman.
Akshay.
Bollywood Top 100.
Another Bollywood Top 100. Our Bollywood Top 100.
Kumar is getting in the Top 100 like crazy.
And this is another
owning
film that handles a very sensitive, delicate topic. Now, this one, while of course there was some humor, it was much more dramatic than Toilet was.
I cried during this movie.
I did too.
I cried.
Now, when the movie first came out, we did have people that were asking us to review it, but it wasn't in the theaters here.
Yes. Couldn't find it.
Couldn't find it. So, much to our surprise, the other day you're scrolling through Netflix, you're like, hey,
what's up,
they
Professor?
have some
Gonna
more
hit
new
you up with
films.
some stuff.
And so Toilet and Padman were on there, and so we were able to watch them.
Why don't you go ahead and give us the overview like
Okay.
you do, and then
Well,
I'll
everybody
read my way
knows,
through them.
everybody basically knows what this is about. Again, based on true events of a rural village in India where women are still kind of stuck in very, very old customs where they don't have proper sanitary pads. I mean, they certainly don't have tampons. They don't even have pads. So they don't have the proper sanitary products that they need for their periods. And they're still living with rituals and customs that say you're unclean
Yeah, right.
for the
Very
entirety of your
Mosaic. It felt
period.
very much
Right, it did
Mosaic
very much
law.
feel like Mosaic law. So you're unclean for the entirety of your period. You have to sleep in a separate little area. Don't touch anybody. You don't touch any things that they touch. And Kumar finds out that his wife is using dirty rags. And I read online that the real life woman, it wasn't just dirty rags, she was using newspapers even. Now, women understand you can get very serious infections if you are not sanitary. And Kumar is concerned. This is something he literally never thought about with his sisters and his mother. It's only when he's married that he realizes...
He sees her with
he
the dirty
sees her,
cloth hiding it
yes.
underneath her sari.
Yes. And so she's trying to explain it to him, and we have already seen at the beginning of the film, he delights in making things to make his wife's life easier.
Yes, and you see some of the little inventions as he really enjoys
Yes,
it.
and so he sets out on a pursuit to make her life easier, and he's going to make pads for her. Well, first what he does is he goes to the local drugstore and he buys them. And she's so excited, and then she sees the price on the package. And he was like, oh, why didn't I take the price off? And she's like, I refuse to use them. And so he's at work one day, and somebody gets a deep, deep gash on their arm, and he still has these pads with him because she's like, you got to take them back to the store. Well, the store won't take them back. And so he still has them, and he uses one for a guy who, has this deep gash on his arm. And then they take the guy to the doctor, and of course it saved his life because instead of using a dirty rag, which would have infected his arm and probably caused him to lose his arm, he had something that was sanitary. And because of the no-stick lining on the top, it didn't stick to his arm, and so it wasn't painful when they took the pad off of his arm. So the whole film is basically him trying to make a pad for his wife. And early on, his inventing is not going well because he doesn't understand it's not just regular, ordinary cotton on the inside of his pads. You may recall as we were watching the film, when he was undergoing his first experiment, I said, this is not going to work. He's got the wrong filling on the inside of the pad. And he just thought, well, I need more filling. I just don't have enough cotton. That's not the issue. You have to have absorbent material in there that's going to wick it away and not cause it to just soak and pool up and then leak. So he's trying to get people to try these things. The village thinks he's a pervert.
Yes.
His mom doesn't want him around his sisters.
And basically, like, the family moved away from him. His wife
Yes.
left him. Everybody, because they're just
because
like,
her
what-
brothers came and took her away.
Yes.
He's trying to get medical students at the local medical
Yes.
college, and even they won't use them.
And he put a little survey because he wants to
Yes,
improve on it. It
yes.
was trash.
Like rubbish.
Yes. What was it? Excellent. Just okay.
Yes, something
And they
like
were
that.
like, and it was written out on notebook paper, like just like.
And they wouldn't try them, and so the girl that he gave them to, she's just going to forge all the surveys, and he catches her, and he's like, okay,
I
this
could have
doesn't,
done that.
yeah, and this doesn't help me at all. So the villagers spread rumors that he's cheating on his wife
Yes,
with these
yes,
women.
yes.
I mean, and all he's trying to do is help his wife, and by extension, help other women. So he's obsessed with this, and this takes years for him to actually get it right, because he realizes, wait a second, there's cellulose fiber in there. He's watching a little series of videos. He's trying to make money,
He's on YouTube.
and he's working for a professor,
Yeah.
hoping to gain knowledge. But the professor's never home, and he's basically a servant to the professor's little boy. And the little boy shows him how to Google things. And so he goes online and sees. At this point, the professor's mocking him, and the professor shows him this video of a machine, and he realizes, I can make that machine. And what I need is not regular, ordinary cotton. I need cellulose fiber. And so toward, maybe the middle end of the film, we are introduced to Sonam Kapoor of Nirja fame and other films.
And she saved all the passengers.
She and her father are modernized. And she's a musician. Her father works for IIT. They're both very intelligent. And she's in the village doing a concert, basically, and realizes, uh-oh, I forgot to bring pads. And her friends are looking for a drugstore in the middle of the night. Nothing's open, and they come across Kumar, who has these pads.
I have my pads with me here. First
They
customer.
don't realize that these are his inventions.
Yes.
So the next day he finds them, and he's like,
What'd you think?
"What-
Feedback?
How
Yeah,
are you?" And she's like, "What do you mean?" Or he's like, how was it?" And she's like, "How was it? How was what?" They finally get around to, he wants to know, how are the pads? How do the pads work? They worked wonderful, and so she finds out, she's trying to figure out, why is he doing this? He shares the story with her. She gets him to basically submit his design for a contest.
At IIT.
And who was the guest speaker?
It was me.
It was
me.
Big B. At the
was
beginning
so
of the film, we
ridiculous.
saw his name, like special thanks, and I was like, oh my gosh, that means he's gonna have a bit role, or he's gonna be narrating or something. And then they showed him, and there he was. It was so exciting. So, so Kumar is upset because he thinks that he's lost the main prize, but he wins like the presidential award, so he gets money, and he makes these machines. He starts. There are
She
local.
tells them, now that you've gotten this, big companies are going to want to buy
Yes,
this,
yes.
and you're going to make millions just off the
Right,
patent.
yeah.
And he's like, but who? This is for poor women to have pads because they're dirty.
Yes.
Not to, the pads.
He's not
are so
trying to make
expensive.
money. He's not trying
I'll
to make
just
money.
make my own machine. And so he goes about, and there's a couple scenes prior to this where they're going to Hindu festivals, and they have there's a Hanuman machine.
Right.
That they have like an altar set up, and you put a coin in, and it cracks the coconut, and you can see him looking at it, seeing the mechanics of how this thing operates. He
has a very mechanically minded
and
mind.
so he's like, okay, I got the picture of this machine, the $1 million machine. It's basically doing different things. So I
Yes.
need to build different things to do it.
Yes.
Oh, I love too when he's got to pee, and he's at the conference.
yes.
And he's trying to explain the machine, but he's got to pee.
Yes.
And he's like, and he gets to the point where the sanitation, he's like, kill,
Yes.
kill. And it was just
The
so
sterilization
funny.
part
Yeah,
of the
it was
machine.
fun.
Yes.
It was so fun.
And then he has to go pee, and he says, no pads for that.
Yeah.
So, so in any case, he wins his money. He starts cranking out these inventions because Sonam Kapoor has come around to his way of thinking and realizes this is going to help
she does
people.
something that is revolutionary for him.
Yes.
Because he's met with, like, this dude's a weirdo.
Yeah.
Get him away from me.
Nobody wants to talk to him.
She will go talk to the women.
Yes.
And they'll talk to the women, and man, they start bringing it in, don't they?
Because she realized what he didn't. When you're in the very populated cities that have already been modernized, he could go sell these things to anybody. But when you're in the rural villages where these women are still stuck with the mindset of I'm unclean and I need to be away from people, they need a woman to explain to them.
Not a man saying, hey.
Right. And so they start bringing in village women to teach them how to make these things.
Yes.
So he sells them these machines.
And it spreads and it multiplies.
Yes. They go get loans from the bank because women can get loans from the bank. They get these loans. Now they have their own businesses because they have these machines. They know how to work them. They sell the pads. The pads are 2 rupees per pad. So, I mean, infinitesimal amount of money. So cheap. And she had to get on the one girl who was trying to cheat people, and she's like, it's 3 rupees, and she basically said, don't cheat people. So, and Sonam Kapoor starts falling in love with him. What we don't realize is that we thought his wife had actually divorced him.
She had.
All those years, she still had not divorced him.
And he's now getting famous.
He's getting famous.
And he's being seen on television.
And his wife sees him on TV with his shirt tucked in.
And she says, wait a minute.
He never tucks his shirt in by himself. And now she's like, okay, I better make this right.
So he goes to their version of TED Talk at the UN.
Yes.
And he gives a great speech.
Yes.
Adorable speech.
Yes.
He then wins the presidential award.
He had already won that.
And
at this point, he's already making the machines and becoming famous because of it.
And then we see the resolution of the crisis is Radhika is back.
Yes. Sonam kisses him
and realizes afterwards, like.
Well, because they're walking back to the hotel and they're getting ready to go their separate ways, and I think she's ready to kind of pour out her heart to him. And his phone rings, and it's his wife, and he drops her hand immediately. Because he wants his wife back.
Yes.
He doesn't want to be divorced. And she realizes, Sonam Kapoor, I have to let him go. I have to, because he won't be the person that I want him to be if he is not with his wife. He needs to be with his wife. And so she sacrifices her own happiness for what she knows is right. Kudos to her. So in any case, but she continues to follow his career after she moves to London. And his wife gets converted basically to the idea of, I can use these. I don't have to use the old dirty rags. And everybody in the village is realizing they don't have to do this anymore. I loved this film. There was also something that I thought was so sweet. When one of the girls in the village had reached the age of puberty and had gotten her first period, they did this phenomenal ceremony for her, which a lot of women in America do similar type of ceremonies for their daughters, where they're basically welcoming them to womanhood. And I said to you, that's such a great idea. Why don't people do that at menopause too? When women have been having periods for decades and they're like, we're so ready to be done with this.
We'll
and I told you, when I hit menopause, we are celebrating. So no lie. So lots of people had asked us to review this when it first came out. Now we were able to review it. I loved this film. Did you love this film?
I love this film.
Yes. I loved when he said at the UN that if men had to bleed for even 30 minutes the way that women do, that they'd be straight up dead.
Final grade?
A.
A+. Yeah,
it was very good.
Real quick. Kumar G, you are becoming my favorite actor. I am amazed at how many different types of characters you can play, and you do them very well. Even if total film production isn't what Americans are used to, you shine in every role you take, sir. I just want to say thank you for the great films. You do a great job, and I hope that you see this, sir. And you have become my favorite actor now. Nice.
Very nice. That's a very nice tribute. So I guess that wraps up our movie review. We'll catch you later.
Time to eat, yo.
Bye.
Fat man's hungry.